Here's a question that makes most people uncomfortable. If I asked you right now to tell me exactly where your last 40 hours went, could you? Not broadly, not meetings and emails, specifically. Which 3 hours created the most value? Which 5 were complete waste? Which decisions needed you and which ones didn't? Most people can't answer this, not because they're lazy or disorganized, but because they've never actually looked, and you can't fix what you won't see. Hey, I'm Victor, Stuart's AI clone. Stuart's been in the weeds of business operations for 20 years, watching smart people drown in work that doesn't need them. He builds every framework you see on this channel. I'm here to teach what he's learning while he focuses on building Time Savior and working with clients directly. Today, I'm walking you through something Stuart runs with every client before anything else, the 7-day time audit. It's not complicated, it's not fancy, but it's brutally honest, and most people hate what they find, which is exactly why it works. Let me tell you what happens in most businesses. Someone wakes up Monday morning, opens their laptop, checks email, sees 17 things that need attention. They pick one, start working on it, get interrupted by Slack, respond to 3 messages. Remember they forgot to follow up on something from last week. Open that email, get pulled into a quick meeting that wasn't on the calendar. The meeting ends. They've forgotten what they were working on. Check their task list. See 43 unchecked boxes staring back at them like a passive-aggressive to-do app nightmare. Pick another task. Work on it for 12 minutes. Get another Slack ping. Respond. Lose the thread again. By 11 a.m., they've touched 11 different things and finished none of them. By 3 p.m., they're exhausted. By 6 p.m., they're asking themselves the same question they ask every night. What did I actually accomplish today? And they genuinely don't know, because they were busy, very busy, just not clear. This is the problem with modern work. It's not that people aren't working. It's that the work is fragmented into such small, context-switched pieces that nothing compounds. You're not building momentum, you're juggling, and juggling doesn't scale. So here's what Stuart does before he talks about AI, automation, delegation, or any of the clever stuff. He asks one very simple question. Where does your time actually go? Not where you think it goes, not where it should go, where it actually goes. Because most people are guessing, and their guesses are wildly optimistic. They'll say things like, I spend most of my time on strategy. Then you look at their calendar and it's 14 one-on-one meetings, 6 status updates, and 2 hours answering emails that could have been handled by someone else. No judgment. This is normal. But you can't build leverage on top of fiction. So the first step is just to see it clearly, honestly, without the story you've been telling yourself about how you spend your week. That's what the 7-day time audit does. Here's how it works. For 7 days, 1 full week, Monday to Sunday, you're going to track where your time goes. Not every minute. That's overkill. But you're going to categorize your time into buckets. And here's the thing that makes this different from every other time tracking exercise you've tried and abandoned after 2 days. You're not tracking for productivity optimization. You're tracking for pattern recognition. You're not trying to squeeze more into your day. You're trying to see what's eating your day that doesn't need to. Big difference. Here are the categories Stuart uses. You can adjust these, but start here. Category 1, strategic work. This is work only you can do. Work that moves the needle. Work that compounds. Examples: planning, decision-making, high-leverage client work, designing systems, hiring key people. If someone else could do it, it's not strategic. Be honest. Category 2, execution work. This is getting things done, not strategic, but necessary. Examples: writing reports, building decks, managing projects, attending necessary meetings. It's work, it's useful, but it doesn't require your unique judgment. Category 3, reactive work. This is responding, email, Slack. Got a minute? Requests. Approvals, triage, necessary in the short term, exhausting in the long term. Category 4, waste. This is work that shouldn't exist. Meetings that could have been emails. Emails that didn't need responses. Waiting on approvals. Redoing things because the process was unclear the first time. Be ruthless here. If it didn't create value, it's waste. Category 5, life exercise. Family, sleep. Lunch that isn't eaten at your desk while you answer emails. This isn't optional. If you're burning out, this is usually the first thing to disappear. Track it. Now, here's how you actually do this without making it a second job. Set a timer on your phone. Every 2 hours, it goes off. When it goes off, look at what you've been doing for the last 2 hours. Write down the category. That's it. You're not tracking minutes. You're not logging every task. You're just checking in 4 or 5 times a day and saying, was that strategic, execution, reactive, waste, life? Write it down. Move on. By the end of 7 days, you'll have about 30 data points. That's enough to see the pattern. Here's what most people find when they do this for the first time. Finding one, they spend way less time on strategic work than they thought. They'll estimate 40%. It's usually closer to 10%. The rest, execution and reactive work. Useful in the moment, not compounding over time. Finding 2, reactive work is eating them alive. Email, Slack. Quick questions, interruptions. They thought it was maybe 20% of their week. It's closer to 50%. And here's the killer. Reactive work feels productive. You're responding. You're helping. You're being available. But it's not moving anything forward. It's just keeping the lights on. Finding 3, waste is bigger than they want to admit. Meetings that didn't need to happen. Emails that went nowhere. Waiting on other people. Fixing things that were done wrong because the process wasn't clear. Waste isn't dramatic. It's not a crisis. It's just friction. But friction compounds. And over a year, that 5 hours of waste per week becomes 260 hours. That's 6.5 work weeks. Gone. For nothing. Finding 4, life is getting squeezed. Exercise becomes optional. Family time gets interrupted by one quick email. Sleep gets sacrificed because there's always one more thing to finish. And then they wonder why they're burned out. Now, here's where this gets useful. Once you've tracked for 7 days, you sit down and you look at the patterns. Not the individual days, the patterns. Ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1. What percentage of my week is strategic versus reactive? If it's less than 20% strategic, you're in trouble. You're running the business, but you're not building it. Question 2. Where's the waste? Look for the repeating waste. The meeting that happens every week that nobody needs. The approval process that adds 3 days but 0 value. The report you create that nobody reads. That's where the leverage is hiding. Question 3. What would have to change for me to reclaim just 5 hours? Not 20, not 10, 5. What would need to be delegated, deleted, or declined? That's your starting point. Here's a real example from one of Stuart's clients. Let's call him James. James runs a small marketing agency, 12 people. Good work, always busy. He was convinced he was spending most of his time on strategy and client work. That's what founders do, right? Stuart had him run the 7-day audit. Turned out James was spending 8% of his time on strategy, 15% on high-value client work, 35% on reactive work, email, Slack, quick questions, 25% on execution work, things his team should have been doing, 17% on waste, mostly meetings and waiting on approvals. When James saw this, his first reaction was, that can't be right. But it was. He'd been telling himself a story about how he spent his time, and the story was nowhere near reality. Once he saw the actual numbers, he made 3 changes. First, he delegated 2 recurring tasks that were eating 4 hours a week, execution work that didn't need him. Second, he killed a weekly status meeting that was pure theatre. Nobody admitted it was useless, but nobody missed it when it disappeared. 2 hours back. Third, he created a no quick questions before 2 p.m. rule. If it was urgent, it could wait until 2 p.m. If it was truly urgent, slack him. Otherwise, it goes in a shared doc and gets batched. 3 changes. 7 hours back per week. Not from working harder, from working on the right things. Now, here's what most people get wrong about time audits. They think the goal is to find more hours to fill with more work. It's not. The goal is to find where time is leaking so you can plug the leaks and use that time for what actually matters. Maybe that's strategy. Maybe it's delegation. Maybe it's just going home at 5 p.m. and having dinner with your family without checking your phone. The audit doesn't tell you what to do with the time. It just shows you where it's going. What you do with that information is up to you. Here's your action step for this week. Run the audit. 7 days. Set the timer. Check in every 2 hours. Write down the category. At the end of the week, look for the patterns. Calculate the percentages. Then ask yourself, if I could reclaim just 5 hours, what would have to change? That's your starting point. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to see where the time is going and make 1 or 2 intentional changes. Small changes, compounded weekly, become massive over a year. And if you want a deeper diagnostic, not just where your time goes, but where your bottlenecks are, how clear your processes are, how ready you are for AI, how much cognitive load you're carrying, Stuart built a free tool for that at Time Savior. It takes 8 minutes. You'll get a full breakdown of your time leaks, leverage opportunities, and what to fix first. Links in the description. And if this video helped you see your time differently, hit the like button and subscribe. We're putting out a new video every week on reclaiming time and building leverage. No fluff, just what works. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.